So should I just jump in, or say, Mark? You usually say it. Go for it.
You mean like Welcome to Reckoning Bros,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm.
Say that. Yeah,
where we
yeah,
mock hypocrisy and taunt petty tyrants and
yeah.
mock petty tyrants?
And you keep a low profile, and you
Defending the
protect the
American way
American
of
way of
life.
life.
Yeah.
And if a line ever
And,
becomes available, which it never does,
and if you run out of money, you have a mouth, and you know where the bus station is, and you go to town. And there's usually like your intro is like something along those lines.
so
Oh,
this
and then your doily that you use that I'm still pretty sure doesn't even fucking work to not stain your desk.
You know,
my,
there's
ve-
all
my
over that.
very thick drink with a splash of club soda, even though Josh erroneously accuses me of like putting 3/4 club soda and 1/4 booze, which of course it would never.
No, no. Wait a minute. I didn't say 3/4 club soda. I said, let's say a quarter club soda, a half of ice, and a quarter of booze.
I do use a lot of ice.
Okay. Okay, that's believable.
That's true. That's true.
That's
Very
believable.
diluted once it gets down to the melting pot.
Well, when it gets down to the melting pot, that's when you just add booze.
Uh huh. Okay. So
Hello.
he still sounds like he's talking to a sock.
Yep. Yeah, but you know what? We're gonna have to deal with it. I
We're
think.
just gonna roll with it.
Yeah, I don't know what else we can do.
Okay. Um. So welcome back. It's my turn to host. It's been a while. I
Yep.
gave you guys some heads up on this, but today we're talking about the dumpster fire of the modern internet. So, what things that people do specifically to drive us crazy, and this comes from me personally. Just browsing this last week and seeing two local reputable news sources independently start using clickbait, and it drives me absolutely crazy. So you have the story, which is very vague, doesn't give any location. Man hit by train. You have to click into the comments, and then you have to click on the link. So they're driving engagement and they're driving clicks to their website, and it makes me absolutely crazy. So I want to start with this engagement at all costs motto that every business is taking on right now. What are your internet pet peeves, guys? What do you think?
That's a huge one. Can I? You said this is local, like local.
WHIO is
Oh
doing
wow.
it, and
Oh,
WDTN Channel 2 is doing it as well. So it led me into that kind of mindset, like looking for clickbait. And I'm like, it bothers me.
I'd love to deep dive into that, but just quickly, mine is people. It's just social media, and it's people having an enormous amount of confidence when they have a little amount of information and kind of yelling a half baked opinion out there with a bunch of confidence when they don't really know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's probably number one for me.
Which is ubiquitous. I mean, it's just all over the internet. It's thoroughly annoying. Yeah.
It's why I can't be on Twitter. I just you guys we've talked many times about why I don't like Twitter, and you guys make some good cases for it. There are positives for Twitters. You've mentioned them, and I agree with you. But overall, in the end, is because of this is why I can't engage and be on there.
So, Scott, wait, hold on. Scott,
Mm-hmm.
you have our credentials on Twitter, and I see you post on there all the time.
I haven't been on there for several months because I just had to rage quit it. But
But there
I
was
was
like
on there posting.
1,100 posts on it.
There's no way I posted 1,100 times.
Replies, posts, and replies and replies.
Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I was on there up until probably 3 months ago. I was on there regularly, just trying to promote, but just I couldn't do it anymore. I just it's just
The
too
slop engagement got
annoying.
to you, didn't it? That's what I call it, slop engagement.
Yeah, because it's on everything. It's like Josh said about it's with his pet peeve. It's even going into like local news stations. With my pet peeve, it's going into like every single person. Especially, you know what really took me over the edge is the whole modern anti-Semitic movement, especially on the right, and they're posting on everything. If you if you say the slightest positive thing about Israel, for instance, even if you're super critical of Israel, if you don't hate them enough, you're going to get a huge amount of comments and posts on every single post. And I got sick of seeing things like that. And I
Yeah, it's a total gang. It's a total gang pileup. The minute you say anything good about Israel, or that even if you say you support Israel's right to exist,
yeah,
it
exactly.
really doesn't make any difference unless you are constantly critical of Israel, everything Israel does, and the Jews. You get the pile-on just immediately starts, and it's
you have to believe in the conspiracy and do everything you can to stop the evil conspiracy, and
you
that's
have to
really
believe
what
that they control the government. You have to believe that they control politicians. You have to believe that they control the media, entertainment, movies, everything. You have to believe that Israel controls everything, which of course is nothing more. I mean, that's just a more nuanced way. It's no different than what the Nazis did when they were demonizing Jews in Germany in the 1930s, right? That's literally what the same taglines the Nazis were using. The Jews control the government, the Jews control the military, the Jews control this, the Jews control that.
Can I also say, though, it's also not too different than the woke intersectionalists that these people, these right wingers, claim to despise, say about white people, for instance. They're the single cause of everything. They're higher up on the intersectionalist ladder. So therefore, they're the cause of everything. It's stupid, simple thinking. But sorry, Josh, got a little off topic, but that's why I'm not on Twitter anymore. If you want to take over the account, please do.
No, I mean I have access to it and I see you post on it, but the whole thing that you guys are talking about leads right into what the next part that I did is, I went generationally. I asked my mom, I asked my son, I asked my dad, I asked my wife, and one of the things is the groupthink that you guys are talking about right now. My mom is, we must be able to challenge each other without being condemned, and it's very fascinating that you guys are talking about that, and it was unprompted that she was talking about it. With my son, it was when people spread misinformation and when they take something out of context and try and cancel someone over it. That's huge in that generation. So I thought that was very interesting and led to our next point.
Yeah, your mom and son are wise people. Those are both great points.
What did your dad say?
He didn't comment. So, going into the different types of peeves, I came up quite a list. Rage baiting is one of them. That's the intentionally making someone mad, trolling, that kind of thing. I think our president does it the best. He's the absolute troll. But rage baiting is something that I find, they say, "Oh, I'm being sarcastic," but a lot of times it feels a little too close to home, and it just drives a wedge between people. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
So you're talking about somebody that like posts on Twitter or whatever, claiming they're a troll, but you think they're really getting off on, well, I guess that's what a troll does, gets off on people getting pissed off at each other, right? And in its best form, you're showing people's hypocrisy and stupidity, right? But in its worst form, you're making people hate each other, which kind of makes the world a worse place. So yeah,
exactly. Making people hate each other is where it's leading to. But someone will post a video, the chef reactions one that I watch, right? And I showed you guys one of his, but he watched this one account, and they're taking like they're doing some kind of macaroni and cheese, right? Like a big casserole, whatever, and they put the cheese in a bag, and they just put the bag in the pan. They don't take the cheese out of the bag, right? And then they bake it like that. So there's plastic all embedded in it, and like stupid stuff like that. But it's just one of those, and it's not necessarily to make people hate each other. It's just to make you mad.
Yeah,
and to drive engagement. You're stupid. Why'd you do that? And
that seems like a harmless version of it, but yeah,
it is. But
and Josh is right. And Josh is right. There's a lot of businesses and sites that pass themselves off as news sites that are doing that are leaning into precisely what he mentioned earlier with the local channels here. And they'll post something and then they'll say, do you agree? Right? Do you agree? Right? And then, of course, the influx of comments come in and you end up with everybody in a mud wrestling fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so you have like whether it's Kalshi or I mean, there's just tons of businesses and tons of news organizations that are doing this thing, where they'll put up something controversial and leave it up with, with watch till the end or what do you think or do you agree?
Wait till the end. I hate that. The wait for it one where they're unboxing something, right? And it's a new iPad or whatever, and they're doing it incredibly slow. And they're like, wait for it, wait for it. And they opening the box and it's opening a micrometer at a time. And it gets to the 3 minute and they go like for part 2.
Jesus.
Grr!
Joshua, you were talking about with like WHIO and the local places. Do you think this is just like death rows of a dying industry and dying companies? I mean, if you have to rely on clicks for money, you're kind of already done. Well, we're all done in the AI world, but that's a whole different discussion.
It's a very valid point.
But it just seems like it's just like they're desperately trying to cling on to relevance and pay bills for another year. And this is what happens when something dies. It becomes pathetic.
I think it has less to do with that, Scott, than it does with the 27-year-olds that they're hiring who have degrees in social media marketing and social media management that are telling them this is what you need to do to increase your footprint. When really there's all kinds of things that a local news organization can do to increase its footprint aside from doing this cheap, cheesy Temu style. Do you agree? Click for part 2, etc. It's just, a little bit of original thinking will give you more ideas to get more engagement, to get more clicks, aside from the Temu stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. I
think I feel like you got a point, Scott. It is a dying industry. News is 24/7. News is app driven. News can be on Instagram. It could be on Facebook. It could be on Twitter. It could be on other applications, but it doesn't necessarily have to come from WHIO. So if they're trying to drive relevancy, maybe that's a way to...
Can I be glib for a second?
Yeah.
Which is really all that I ever do on here.
Yeah.
If I were telling WHIO what to do, I would say, if you want to stick around, why don't you go back to basics in what people might actually like to see when styles change from year to year, which would be old school local news. Like have some positive stories, rescuing cats from trees kind of shit. Anchorman, make it like a little bit kind of funny, maybe change up the people that are on there, but have it still have that old school feel, have it be comforting, but not pandering, just work with it a little bit, but lean on we're your local news. You can come, we're your warm blanket.
The best journalists on Twitter are the ones with the best senses of humor. Period. End of story. They're funny, and irrespective of whether you agree with what it is that they write or whatever their political affiliation is, whatever their political leanings are, the best ones are funny, right? And there's journalists on the left that are funny, journalists on the right that are funny, and those accounts are,
Can I say also the worst ones are the ones that take themselves too seriously and are never self-deprecating.
Yeah.
So I think it goes hand in hand with what you're saying.
Don Lemon, etc. Acosta, the
Don
force.
Lemon at the church is still the best thing.
Well, Don Lemon's
ever.
doing his thing now where he's running around saying, I could be president. I could run for president. And the funniest thing about that is that it's literally like he wants to be Donald Trump so badly. And he hates Donald Trump. But here we are.
Here we are.
So the next one is the AI generated slop. We've talked about a little bit, but it's also some kind of the interactions that you're getting when you're on a social media feed is AI. Your
Yeah.
people are they're using bots to comment, using bots to fill things up, and that's something that why would you let that loose, right? But also it's the context. It's the things that people do. The vague posting makes me bonkers.
Can you explain vague posting?
I'm gonna get him. I know exactly what he did.
And
That's it.
nothing else, and no other
No,
content.
no. So you got to go into the comments and fish for what the hell is this guy talking about?
Got
And
it.
we all, there's someone we all know that's very good at that, and I'll
Is his
get
name
to that.
Mark?
Later. No,
No,
Okay.
but
it's not Mark.
I'll
And-
get to
and
it later.
Mark wouldn't do that. But a perfect example of that is the legions of Trump haters. And again, you know, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but the legion of Trump haters that are on social media that will post nothing other than today would be a good day for him to die,
Jesus.
right? And that's all they'll say. And of course, you can if you don't know the account, then you might wonder who it is they're talking about. Go into the comment section and it's I can't wait for the orange blob to die, right? And it's another example of what Josh is talking about, the vague posting. There's a really and then the pile-ons in the comments on social media are just it's so fucking stupid, and it happens with. I mean, you can look at any post, virtually any post, whether a serious person who writes well, has a really good column, is not particularly right wing or left wing, but just a serious commentator, and you don't have to scroll down for 5 seconds before you'll see a comment and a bunch of comments that have nothing to do with what it is that person said.
Yeah,
Right? And there's an account that years ago, and we call it the meme now. You're doing the meme, but it's a tweet he put out, and it said Twitter is the only place where well-articulated sentences get misinterpreted. You can say, I like pancakes, and somebody will say, so you hate waffles. No, bitch, that's a whole new sentence. What the fuck is you talking about? Right? And that happens all the time.
I had trouble hearing that, but okay,
I get the gist.
yeah, okay.
Why did you have trouble hearing it?
I don't know if you were too close. Okay, so we got vague posts that we talk about, lack of context that we're talking about. And that's a very good point that you say there, Mark. When Elon Musk posts, the first 50 comments are relevant. Everything else after that is trying to drive engagement based upon his post and trying to drive it back to you. You got a view, something like that feeds into the algorithm, goes back to actual site clicks. I don't know. That drives me crazy, but it's exactly what you were saying there.
Yeah, it's literally the meme, which is Twitter is the only place where well-articulated sentences still get misinterpreted. You can say, I like pancakes, and somebody will say, so you hate waffles? No, bitch. That's a whole new concept. That's a whole new thing.
Is
That's
it
a whole new sentence.
is it misinterpretation, or is it people that are just waiting for any chance to take down a person they disagree with? They'll look for any slippage, any place they can sneak their little Weasley ass in.
I think it has a lot to do with just not being literate. Like you literally have you have a reading comprehension problem. You have a reading comprehension problem. right? Like literally, people will go. So a journalist said something the other day was like blah blah blah, he blah 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 blah, and then it was about Mamdani, right? And he used he blah 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 he, right? And then underneath that was a comment was like, why are people attacking? Why are you attacking his wife? Like, motherfucker, he said he. Like, it's bad.
Agreed. That's why I haven't been on Twitter in 2 months. Josh, if you want to take over the account, please do.
Would the world be better off if the internet hadn't been invented?
That's a hell of a philosophical question.
Yeah.
I mean, positive and negatives exist for everything. I would say generally we're probably better off, but it depends on where you live. If you live in sub-Saharan Africa, you're far better off with every piece of technology that's come along since 1950.
Let's refine that question a little bit more. If the internet didn't exist, but we still had computers, is that okay with what your scenario is?
I will admit that I am on a platform that's using the internet to ask this question. And so I don't want to pigeonhole myself into the same category as the proud socialist on Twitter who dunks on capitalism, lives off of the revenue stream that he gets from being on Twitter, pays Elon Musk for having a blue check, does not work, and talks about how great communism is, right? Motherfucker, you're paying a billionaire to be on his platform, you don't have a job, and you're living off the monthly payouts that the capitalist billionaire you hate pays you. So I don't want to be that guy. I asked it in a sort of general sense, and I'm not sure you were in the room when I was talking about it with your son last night, Josh. There's obviously trade-offs with everything, but looked at me kind of funny when I asked that, when I posed that question. And he lives in a world, and anybody born, past the year 1990 doesn't know what life was like without the internet. We know what life was like without it.
Yeah.
So we can look at things nostalgically and say, well, people were in better shape because they walked more, they got more exercise, there was less chaos in the world, people were out, there was more social interaction, there was more family cohesion, there was less constant distraction, etc.
It was tire swings and bowling leagues all the way down.
And all of that is true. And at the same time, it's true that, like what you said, Scott, especially people that live in places that don't have a middle class, right? Or have a very small middle class where there's immense poverty and suffering. Yeah, technology is more important than ever to them.
And I've thought about it, Josh. Yes, the internet, we are better off with the internet.
I question it a little bit. I wouldn't mind hearkening back to the days of dial-up and Command and Conquer on CD. But, that's just me.
You're forgetting about the noise that the modem made.
The modem noise? Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
The world was a lot less chaotic, I believe, before the internet. And I think
24/7.
I'm sorry?
It's 24/7. You can get.
Yeah, I think it's axiomatically true that we lived in it was a simpler time. There was less chaos. There was less division. There was more human interaction. That people got out more. We didn't have the kinds of anxiety and depression epidemics that we see today because, people, especially people with social anxiety, who have a difficult time engaging with people, whose only contact with the outside world is the magic box they're holding in their hand or their PlayStation. One can also make the argument that they'd be worse off if they didn't have any interaction at all without the internet, because they have anxiety and depression, and there's no.
Wait. If you have anxiety and depression, isn't just a blanket. It's not black and white, right? So if you are inclined to that, and you have a society that gives you the ability to socialize through the internet, you're probably not going to get over that anxiety. However, if that isn't there, you're going to be forced to get over these things so that you can socialize and get what you need out of life.
I agree.
It's perfect, but it enables. In shorthand, I would say it enables a lot of things. So it's part of the negative. Positives and negative and everything.
Yeah, trade-offs and everything. The jobs that have been created by the internet is incalculable. And
I couldn't do what I do right now without the internet. Period.
Certainly,
I couldn't make a living how I make it right now without the internet.
I could not.
And with every innovation in the human experience, people lamented the fact that something else was going away. Right? The horse and buggy was going away because of the advent of the automobile, and people were like, "Well, I don't like the horse and buggy going away." Right? And air travel made rail travel obsolete, and people were like, "Well, I kind of like riding on the train, riding on the choo-choo." You had more leg room.
Suck, dude. Have you been on a train?
You had more leg room. You had dining cars. You could see the country. So with
trains fucking suck. Trains suck. Trains are trash. If you've been on a train, they're trash. They suck. Being on a train is fucking awful. No trade off.
I think so. Unless you're on the Orient Express, or some of the vintage rail lines that do like your tourism thing. I mean, it's kind of like so for whatever rail line that's doing the equivalent of the riverboat tour, right?
That's a different thing. That's tourism, but planes are amazing.
Yeah, and Mark's been trying to get me to go to Chicago on the Cardinal Express from Cincinnati to Chicago for 15 years, but I've always wanted to do it. I thought it sounds fun. I've been on like a metro or a subway, but never on an actual train. Why, are you referring to an actual train, Scott?
Yeah. I don't like them. I think they're fucking. They're loud and stupid. They only go down one track.
They're loud and stupid.
Yeah, they're loud. They're stupid. They look dumb. I don't like them. I think they're dumb.
Yeah, I think. I really. Some of the most annoying people I know are the urbanists that push the whole choo-choo train travel everywhere. No, motherfucker, we're Americans. We have very tight schedules, and I need the flexibility that my automobile provides me. I want to be able to come and go when I please.
Yeah.
I want to be able to pull up to the building that I'm going to. I don't want to have to worry about walking 6 blocks or 8 blocks to my destination. And if you want to ride the subway, good for you. More power to you. I don't want that, and I don't want socio-political policies, and I don't want ideologues driving the conversation about trains and urban travel.
Amen.
Okay, gonna reel you back in here now. So, a few more types to talk about. Attention me, main character syndromes.
You're right. All three of us have that. Yes, it's a problem.
No. Mark might. I don't know. No, he's not filming in the gym while, the guys are walking by him.
Yeah, but he does. He is like, you get the text from Mark too that are like just random texts where it's like, I am the shit. I am awesome.
Yeah.
I am Mark. It's basically what he says in his text.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get those two.
Keep me going. Watch to the end. Kalshi ads is one of the biggest ones. I play 2 games on my phone. One is a poker game and one is chess. And both of those I do ad free, or I don't do ad free. So there's Kalshi. Have you seen Kalshi?
Garbage.
It's
Kalshi.
bet on anything. Bet on weather. Bet on.
Oh,
Or
okay. I've heard of this. Okay, yeah.
it's just every single ad. So that one drives me crazy. Circling to Facebook.
Can I just say?
requesting-
Can I just? Sorry, Josh. Just to comment on that real quick.
Go.
As me being a true gamer, playing games on your phone is absolute trash and garbage. I will never do it. Please continue.
All hail the true gamer.
Just get with the times, man. You're a real gamer. Yeah,
All right,
please
all right.
don't game on your phone.
Chess.
All right, I'll let that one slide. You're good.
Okay. Facebook accounts that are fake and people are requesting scammers in general. That just makes me crazy.
Yeah.
And there's some interesting stuff. A couple of TikToks I've seen where a guy he actually gets called by scammers and then he hacks into their call center.
Oh, there's a couple good YouTube channels. The dude with the blue hair is really good. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he just hacks into their shit. It's really impressive and fun to watch.
Yeah. So anyway, at Facebook period, I'm gotten to the point where I could care less if Facebook exists.
I deactivated my
years.
account back in 2020 after George Floyd because that was a real first, like what I complained about at the very beginning, just people with very low information yelling the loudest. George Floyd was the first time that really hit me. I'm like, I can't talk to these people rationally about really what's happening in the world because they don't care. They feel emotions and they act without reflection. And Facebook is allowing this to happen, and it's getting them the clicks and the likes, and it's fueling this negative part of humanity. I'm out. Peace. I haven't been back on since. That's just me.
Good. I mean, that's
I think Facebook was really cool. I think everybody thought it was pretty cool, like in 2004, 2005, 2006, right? And then it's spiraled out of control somewhere around the early 2010s, 2011, 2012, something like that. And then, of course, the pandemic came and Facebook got busted, deplatforming anybody that veered from the state, whatever the state said was true information or untrue information. People got deplatformed for Facebook for saying that a lab in Wuhan was the origin of the coronavirus pandemic, which it was.
Racist.
Yeah.
Racist.
Right. So
China.
So the moderators of Facebook, took that as xenophobia, and you got your account zapped. It was no different than what Twitter did before Musk took over. Before Musk bought Twitter, no different than what Twitter did with the same kind of accounts that would put up factual information about COVID, i.e., the vaccine does not prevent transmission, and they got deplatformed.
Hashtag sad.
Aren't you one of those?
Yeah. I wanted to bring that up, but I didn't want to bring that up.
I did not get deplatformed for anything related to COVID.
No, but it was related to oppositional thought.
Yeah, and I got deplatformed from Facebook because I put up side by sides. It's a long story. Let's
dive into that next time, if you don't mind. I would like to.
Let them think about it, but I like it too. I'd like to too.
I have two more, and then we're going to wrap this up. This one's for my wife, and I see it too pretty frequently, but it's people trying to influence, people trying to be an influencer, and they're just normal people, right? They say, my husband can't live without this. and there's a link at the bottom to go buy this thing, and they just do it. It's nonstop. Now, she did buy me one thing that was pretty cool on there. I got a flamethrower, but
That's pretty cool.
yeah, but the trying to establish an influence,
Seriously, my children would die if I did not buy this egg slicer. Like shit like that.
that's pretty close to what's out there.
Yeah.
And the get ready with me videos. Get ready with me. Watch me put my makeup on.
Yes.
Oh my fucking God.
Oh,
And they become influencers, or they become what they believe themselves to be, because there's a lot of narcissistic personality disorder going on.
yeah. One more, and Mark, you and I talked about this yesterday. Old videos and them saying it's current, and then getting 200,000 views on it.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Or videos that have nothing to do with what it is they want you to believe that it has something to do with. I mentioned an account earlier, Proud Socialist on Twitter. So he puts up these videos all the time. He put up a video the other day of a bee swarm at an airport in India, right? And he promoted it as the bees are attacking Israelis. This is biblical, because Israel is bad and is committing genocide. The bees are swarming in Israel. This is biblical. And it took me literally about 3.4 seconds to go to bees swarming at airport and scrolling through YouTube to find a year-old video of bees swarming at an airport in India, right? And they do it; it's constant. And it happens on the right and the left, both. People on the right that want to promote racial division will take a 3-year-old video of a black guy who beat up somebody and go, "Look at blah 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 blah," right? And of course, you do a little bit of research, you find that's a 3-year-old video. It didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen today. Why are you putting this up now? And it's constant. It's enraging, actually. Yeah, it truly is.
Truth and logical consistency don't matter to an ideologue. Only winning matters, because they have the truth. They have righteousness on their side. Nothing else matters.
A lie will travel halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to put its pants on. And that fucking happens every fucking day on the internet. And it's one of the most frustrating things about the internet.
People take their pants off on the internet all the time. You're right.
That concludes our session for this time. Next time I host, I don't know if we want to continue this or not, but next time I host, I wanted to do, what do you like about the internet? What are some good things? So we're going to do a role reversal.